What's up, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, thank you for being here. If it's not your first time here, you know the deal. Listen, we're going to talk about the New York City mandating vaccine passports. New York City has said, well, New York as a state under Andrew Cuomo has said that they will now be requiring vaccine passports publicly to go to events and venues. Before we get into that, check it out. Listen, these are things that I'm learning myself and I want to pass along to you in the macro perspective. And on the micro perspective, I've also learned that every time you smash that like button, every time you hit that like button, it actually gets the message out to everybody else on YouTube. So the more and more that you guys hit the like button, the more and more that the videos get seen. So I appreciate you guys hitting the like button. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and if you want to add to the conversation, drop a comment. Even if you disagree, all good, let's talk about it. Smash the like button, subscribe, drop a comment, share if you will. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so let's just be blatantly honest to start. I'm really struggling to pronounce the name of the app for the vaccine passport for New York. It's Excelsior. For the fact being that I'm struggling to pronounce Excelsior, we're going to call it Excel for today, okay? What can I say? Excelsior, Excel, we're going to call it Excel. We're just going to call it Excel. That's what we're going to do. We're going to call it Excel. New York City launches nation's first vaccine passport. Others are working on the idea, but many details must be worked out. Guys, I have to read this to you. Starting Friday, New Yorkers will be able to pull up a code on their cell phone or a printout to prove they've been vaccinated against the COVID-19 or recently tested negative for the virus. First in the nation certification, called the Excelsior Pass, will be useful first at large-scale venues like Madison Square Garden. Madison Square Garden is the first venue to say you have to have a vaccine passport to come in the entire country. Next week, it will be accepted at dozens of events, arts, and entertainment venues statewide. It already lets people increase the size of their wedding party and other catered events. Just preliminarily sounds like regulation on small business. The app, appointed by Andrew Cuomo to support the recovery of industries most affected by the pandemic, is funded by state and available free to business and anyone with vaccine records or test results in New York. As they would with an airline boarding pass, people will be able to prove their health status with a digital QR code or quick response machine readable label. They will need to download the Excel app, enter their name, date of birth, zip code, and answer a series of personal questions to confirm their identity. Sounds a little intrusive. The data will come from the state's vaccine registry and will be linked to testing data from a number of pre-approved testing companies. I wonder who's going to fund these testing companies. The state of New York? Sounds like a monopoly to me. The New York system, built on IBM's Digital Health Pass platform, is provided via blockchain technology, so neither IBM nor businesses will have access to private medical information. I've heard that before. I don't know about you guys, but I've been told my information's safeguarded, and then voila, all of a sudden it's not, by private industry or government subsidiaries. An entertainment venue will simply scan the QR code and get a green check mark or a red X. The biggest challenge will be linking these systems together so people won't need different types of apps at every different venue. Open source computer advocates already have been collaborating to, quote, figure out how to piece together the different pieces of the puzzle. New York hasn't worked out the connectivity details yet, but it hopes to eventually. As well as linking tickets to Excel Pass, so people going to an event at Madison Square Garden, for example, will be able to link their admissions and Health Pass rather than fumbling with multiple apps. Another hurdle will be finding a consistent set of standards. So what counts as acceptable test or vaccine in one state or country will count in another. I wonder who's going to come up with these guidelines. Let's just unpack this for a second. The state governments shut down state economies in some cases, and let's just use New York here as an example. Shut down economy, shut down small business, allowed certain businesses to stay open, now are regulating your ability to go into business unless you've been vaccinated, allowing the amount of people in the business, if you haven't been vaccinated or the business partakes in it, won't be able to open completely. And they're also the ones administering the checks and balances system when it comes to the actual app. I mean, this is just black and white. I mean, these are just the facts. It sounds like a complete and utter monopoly, which what most people don't know is our economy, which used to be one of the strongest in the world, is not any longer, is run by our government. Our government is a monopoly. And this is just another example of government regulation in small business and large business. And in this case, your personal information. Okay, let's get back into the facts here. At the moment, New York is using its own established by its state health department system, but it's not clear what will happen if or when Connecticut, New Jersey, or other states establish their own certification system. Whether American consumers and businesses will accept the idea of providing proof before entry is not so obvious. Just as Americans have resisted wearing masks during the pandemic, some will reject the idea of showing certificates to get into a ball game or nightclub. So we have the facts here. What's going to happen is there's going to be two different types of apps or two different branches of these apps, okay? Your first branch is going to be for the consumer, meaning us. The second piece is going to be for the business, which will be able to scan your vaccine passport app, QR code, if you will. All right. Right now, what is black and white is that this is coming. Right now, what is black and white is there's going to be regulation around it. Right now, there's a lot of gray area. What we do know is this is an abnormal amount of control over commerce to combat a already falling amount of confirmed cases and deaths of COVID-19. If you've watched this show before, we've gone into the actual statistics of COVID-19 deaths and contraction rates. And what the facts point to is 78% of Americans that have died of COVID are overweight, which means unhealthy, and north of 75 years old. Overweight, north of 75-year-olds might go to Madison Square Garden to watch a basketball game. Absolutely, I think it's possible. However, I'm just a guessing man. 99% of the people going in there are not going to be north of 75 and or overweight. This is a lot of regulation over something that I think is, my opinion is, the pandemic is to have you pay attention over here, okay? Pay attention over here. The news is splitting us apart, Republican, Democrat, black, white, brown, fucking, now there's Asian shit happening. And I say that in the sense that Asian has been brought into the headlines. Remember, pay attention over here, listen to the propaganda here, okay? And here's your new normal. Now we have all this regulation and monopolies and so on and so forth. Cancel your cable. Turn off the propaganda. Get your news wherever you believe is best, outside of mainstream medias and social medias. Pandemic, pay attention here. Propaganda, pay attention here. Split the American people, split us by political, by religion, by race, and then here, you must accept this. I don't know if that's what it sounds like to me. I've also been on the distributing end of things like this, working for our government in foreign countries, doing the exact same thing under different circumstances. It's very easy for me to recognize because I used to execute this stuff. I was the law, and if I decided that you didn't do right, well, then you were punished, just like our government is doing to us. Be careful, read through the lines, understand what's happening, and you might want to take up learning how to fly an airplane and driving a boat if you want to travel. All right, so vaccine passport take 2. That's what I got for you today. That's my take on it. That's the black and white with my opinion in there. All right, again, if this landed with you, hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. But most importantly, that like button gets this video out to everybody else. All right, hit that like button. Smash that like button. Kick that like button. Hit subscribe, and if you want to have a conversation, drop a comment below. I appreciate you all. No matter our opinions differ, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your support. I'll catch you next time.